More Important Issues is brought to you by our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Hound Dogs, and Blue Water Climate Control. And here's a quick word from our good friends at Blue Water Climate Control.
People always ask, where did we get the name Blue Water Climate Control? When a Navy ship casts off lines, exits the harbor, and loses sight of land, that's blue water sailing. It takes a team of people to do that. Tireless work, focus, and attention to detail. So much of starting a business is just like that. After it's done, you get filled with deep satisfaction for accomplishing something. And it's quickly followed by, now the real work begins. We're Blue Water Climate Control.
Vols are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! Got it by Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into today's episode of More Important Issues. It is a Sunday edition, July 11th. We've got a special guest on with us, former Vol Pete Derkay. He actually holds the record and probably will forever, just kind of because of circumstances and how many years he got to play at Tennessee for the most appearances in a Vol baseball uniform. We will get him on the show here shortly. We're also going to talk about some MLB draft preview, and Landon's even repping the Villains shirt today for all the Vol baseball talk.
There you go, baby.
So
they hate us because they ain't us, right?
You said they hate us because they ain't us?
I did.
We'll talk about some more commits. Tennessee football had a few more this week since we left you on Wednesday. Maybe some more coming here soon. So it's plenty going on here. We'll also talk some football, talk about some of the games that are happening on the schedule, some of the ones to what are they, the linchpin game in the season, talk about those. Kennedy Chandler, after a scary injury, they do win gold today. We'll discuss some of that as well as some questions and some segments. Drop your questions in the chat. If you have any for Pete Derkay, drop them in here. We'll see if we can get them going here in just a minute. You have a T-shirt winner, though, before we bring Pete on, right, Landon?
I do, actually. Let me get that. So the winner of the BaseVols shirt is none other than Tommy O'Donnell.
Tommy O'Donnell. Congratulations.
Rules.
That's right. O'Donnell rules. I love it. Tommy, right? Just DM the More Important Issues account, and we'll get that sent out to you.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody, for getting us to 10,000 followers. Obviously, couldn't do the show without you, so we appreciate y'all listening. We are now going to welcome on a special guest. It is Pete Derkay, former Vol. Pete, how you doing tonight, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time, and thank you for hopping on.
Yeah, Pete, it's a great show because we just got to 10K followers, so you're number 10, so it just worked out perfectly.
Exactly.
But yeah, really appreciate you hopping on the show. Appreciate the time. Also appreciate the season, man. That gave Tennessee fans a lot to cheer about this season. So what was that kind of like to be the big guys on campus this season?
I mean, it was awesome just to kind of see how everything has changed in my time of being on campus. We had maybe a couple hundred people sometimes at our games, and that'd be the most. I mean, it was a lot of dress like a seat day.
Sure.
But now, like, you look up and it's just completely packed, and just to have that support with everything was just unbelievable.
So
go ahead. Sorry.
My bad, Caleb. I was going to say we joked with we had Kivett on right before, I guess, as soon as y'all landed in Omaha, he got on the show right with us. So
yeah,
he was actually getting heckled by Eberhard to get down and get to the steak dinner. But yeah, he was joking about like how long you've actually been at Tennessee, and it feels like you're the John Fulkerson of this baseball team. We were actually still in college when you first started at Tennessee. So how has that journey been? Just from you mentioned the people at the games, just the atmosphere and everything from 2017 to now.
I mean, it is a complete 180 from everything, but I mean, at the beginning, I didn't really know what to expect with everything, just being a freshman. And then going through the years, and especially in 2019 when we started winning some games and stuff, the stadium got a little more packed. And that was kind of a feeling that we wanted more of. And then in 2020, before the shutdown, you could kind of feel there was a different buzz around everything. And we were playing with a little more confidence. We just kind of believed in ourselves, believed in the coaches, and we're just going to keep putting in the work to take those next steps. And then this year, I mean, that was unbelievable. Just the joy it was to go to the field every day could not be matched.
Absolutely.
What was that decision like so the season gets shut down in 2020. That's your senior year. The moment you get to hear you come back, is it even a question? Or you're like, yeah, I'm doing it one more. I'm running it back one more time with this team.
So, I mean, the kind of crazy thing is I had my degree. So I was kind of thinking, I mean, maybe if I get picked up, I could go do that. But it was kind of a win-win for me in my mind, because if I got picked up or drafted, then I go fulfill my dream of playing professional baseball.
Right.
But if not, I get to go back to school and do it all over again. And how it turned out, I wouldn't have traded that for the world.
Yeah, no, it definitely ended up working out great for you all the season you had. I mean, 2020, looking at that, the momentum you all had going into SEC play, unfortunately never got to start it. Looked like you all were going to have just as special of a season in 2020 that you did in 2021. What were the kind of mental aspect of that as a team coming into this season? Did you all were you able to kind of ride that momentum, or was it kind of frustrating as a team not getting to finish out that season and then trying to pretty much accomplish 2 seasons worth of it in one season?
I mean, I guess it was kind of – I think everybody on our team was just kind of in shock at everything that was happening. And then when we all got back on campus, it felt like we had never left. So we kind of just picked up right where we left off, and it was just from how long of a break that we had, we were able to just kind of get right into it because everybody was fresh. We hadn't done anything for the longest period of time in all of our lives. I mean, there's always summer ball and just keep rolling into different seasons. And I had more of a break than I've ever had probably in my life combined. So, I mean, we just kind of, I guess, rode that momentum again. And then I don't think there was the pressure or whatever of building the 2 seasons. We knew we were good, and we had a lot of people coming back. We got like the taste of the whole, like, we know how to win a little bit now and what it's like and the work that we put in to kind of take that next step as a program. And we knew like we were missing Alric and ZD and Crochet, and those were 3 big names. But we had enough confidence in just kind of belief in each other that this year was going to be just as special, if not more. And I think it turned out pretty special.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so y'all get to Omaha, which is kind of uncharted waters for this Tennessee baseball program since 2005. What was that kind of like getting to that point? And when was it in your mind that, hey, this team can actually make it to Omaha and end their season in Omaha, Nebraska?
Honestly, last in the COVID year was when I was like, all right, this is probably because I knew just how much better we were from the regional team, and we made it to a regional final that year, and we had just taken those next steps. And then when that shut down and I saw all the people we had coming back, and just kind of in the fall, there was a little bit of like our offense was clicking on all cylinders, and I always knew we could pitch. That was never a thing. We were always going to play defense, and we were always going to throw strikes and be able to pitch. But I feel like our offense was taking a little bit more of a step in the fall, And then that was when I kind of realized, like, we have something a little bit special here. And then even at the beginning of the year, we were not playing very good baseball, to be honest with you, just as like a complete whole, but we were just finding ways to win. And just the fact that we kept finding more and more ways to win, I think it brought us together a lot. In going into SEC play, that confidence just kept soaring, and then we just kept on rolling.
Well, yeah, you mentioned the confidence, and I think that was kind of like if you was like, all right, yeah, this is a frustrating win. Yeah, you won. Maybe you had to do it late in the ninth, or maybe there were some situations you had to get out of. What is that? How did that confidence change when y'all started almost taking care of business? Like, it seemed like after the walk-off home run, grand slam, it seemed like you guys almost cruised through everything. Obviously, it wasn't easy. You faced some great teams in that mix, but the confidence just reached new heights, and everything kind of fell into place.
I mean, yeah, when something like that home run happens, I still don't know what happened, to be honest with you. I just remember sitting in the dugout next to Redmond. I'm sitting there, and we're both thinking different things. And I was like, I came up to him the next day. I was like, did I say this to you? And he goes, no. So I was like, okay, well, I thought I said this to you and stuff like that. But I was just sitting there, and in my head, I was like, okay, like, if we get to Drew, I like our chances. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. And then I see the ball go in the air, and I was like, oh, we did it. That's pretty cool. And then I couldn't talk the rest of the weekend. I had to have other people talk for me. So that was fun. But we kind of just rode off that because we got over, I guess, the hump of kind of super tensed up and everything. Mm-hmm. That moment just kind of let us like relax and breathe. And then we, like you said, we were kind of just rolling.
And does that kind of fit like every weekend series? At Friday, do you kind of have those tense emotions when you get in? And then it's like, if we can just make one play, get us over that hump. And like, I mean, y'all had so many great weekend series and even several sweeps. Is it Friday? Is that where you really got to try to get over the hump early and everything else kind of feels comfortable?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you always want to get off to a good start. So Friday night obviously is the most important because you're playing against the best competition in the country. And usually if a guy's throwing on Friday nights, he's going to be pretty good and he's probably going to pitch at the next level. So, you got to you got to get them early is how we always think it. Cause sometimes with those guys, it takes them a little bit to get going. So when you get a shot, you got to take it.
Right.
So you kind of do that. And then you kind of just learn to take some blows, but then also give some back and just keep going off that. And Friday nights you wake up on Saturday and you're like, thank God I don't play at noon. I got a little bit more time because they're a little draining. But you just kind of, I guess that's the most important day. But then also, say you win, Saturday becomes the most important day, and you want to win that so you can win the series. But if you lose it, then it's all about Sunday. We've said that a bunch in our program. It's all about Sunday because you could win the first two, lose Sunday, and then you're like, oh, that's not as good a series as you thought because you ended on a loss.
Right. So what was I know you're a utility guy, so you're kind of using a bunch of different positions. Do you have a preferred position when you came in? I know you played outfield, catcher. I mean, you do it all. That's why you're a utility guy because they can't give you a direct position. But do you have a preferred one?
Yeah, I like to catch the most. I always caught since I was 9. That was the position that I loved the most, and that's what I came in as a freshman. So I would say that, but even just like growing up, I always wanted to play multiple positions because I didn't want to be a one-trick pony, I guess. And I liked having different gloves. So I thought that was always cool. So just to kind of have that in the back of, hey, you can go play here now, and like we can substitute different people around because you can just go play here. It's all good, but I would say catching is probably my favorite.
So how does it happen? How do you bat left and throw right? How does that growing up? How did that work for you? Because I'm confused. I don't know. Like I played baseball all my life, and I can only throw right and bat right. I don't know how that works for you.
So my grandpa on my dad's side is the only other left-handed swinging person in my family. So I think I just got that from him. So because my dad is he does the opposite of me. He writes left-handed, but will throw. It makes no sense. He writes left-handed, throws right, and swings right. I'm like, that makes no sense to me, but it's fine. Love you, Dad. That's what I'll
say. So what hand do you write with? If you got, I mean, you can.
I'm right, and then the only thing I do left-handed wise is swing. And the funny thing is the reason I wear number 10 is because Chipper Jones is my favorite player. So when I was 9, I tried to go back to your more conventional way. I taught myself how to switch hit. So because I wanted to be more like him.
Right.
And I stopped doing that when I came on campus in the summer because I got too tired taking BP right-handed and left-handed. And every once in a while I would be like, man, if I got out right-handed, I should have just hit lefty. So I quit doing that.
That's a good point.
so I just quit doing it. I don't know. I had always picked up a bat left-handed and done that.
Yeah, and you've done it fine left-handed. There's no reason to. You've done good. It's not a problem. You kind of mentioned like how before Tennessee. So how did you get here? Like what was that journey? Was tennis like where did Tennessee sit on your radar before you actually got onto campus and committed?
So the funny thing about it is I had never once thought about Tennessee or anything like that. And I want to say my sophomore year in high school, I had a chemistry tutor because I just needed some help in that class. And she was the biggest Tennessee fan. She's like, you need to go there. You need to do this. I was like, because you can't just say I'm going here.
Right.
Like they have to openly like recruit you and stuff. I was like, I don't know if it's in the bag. Like, well, if they talk to me, yeah, I'll consider it. So I played in this, it's called the Sun Belt like Classic, and it's in Oklahoma. And I played with Team Georgia, and there's Team Tennessee, Team Colorado, a Texas team, and I think a team from Canada is there. And we were playing Team Tennessee in the very first game out there, and their recruiting coordinator at the time saw me. It was off Ryan Rollison, who went to Ole Miss, and I was in the Rockies organization. And I had like 2 hits off him, and I got a call that following Monday. It said, hey, come up on a visit. And then stepped on campus, and the rest is history.
Nice.
Now, was it like you fell in love the moment you walked? Also, it's good to know that Tennessee has teachers out there recruiting. So the movie Blind Side.
Praise God for that tutor.
Yeah. So like the Blind Side where that tutor's recruiting Michael Ward, that's real. So that's good to know. Well, I think she was recruiting for Ole Miss, but you get it.
Yeah.
So did you fall in love immediately when you stepped on? How'd that work?
I mean, I was just blown away by everything with all the facilities and everything like that. Megan Anderson is the academic advisor, and she's an angel. I wouldn't have been able to finish school like I did without her. And she does so much for us, and can't thank her enough for everything. But just the facilities and her, and I could tell there was a different, I guess, feel or vibe around this campus and stuff, that it was just something I wanted to be a part of.
Mm. And that's, what do you think, what's that culture shift? Because, I mean, anytime there's a staff change, there's going to be some type of culture shift. What do you think maybe the biggest one or the earliest one was? Like, what did you notice different with Tony Vitello and the staff's approach because you did get to go through that change?
Yeah. Well, we lost a lot my freshman year, and they kind of brought in a winning mentality of we're not going to keep losing, I guess, and we're going to put in so much work that even if you do lose, you can kind of rest your head on the pillow and be like, okay, like I gave that my best shot, I guess. But it was just more of like a winning mentality, and it was all about more mental stuff with everything and just confidence in each other and working for each other, I guess, was the 2 main things. Was just putting in an unbelievable amount of work. Nobody's going to outwork us, and just belief in the guy next to you was 2 of the bigger things I saw right away. And then we've kind of just built it in, had some more, we had a bunch of really good players come through, and they bought into that right away. And the biggest thing is how quickly can they buy in, because now we have changed the culture and kind of have, I always like put like some hashtags on some pictures I posted of changing the culture. Didn't really know what it meant at first, but with like me, Luke, Redmond, Will, like all that class before like the 2019 season was we wanted to change the culture and get it back to postseason, like consistently going to the postseason and respect, like have people come in here and they got to give you your best shot to leave with a win. So that was really what we wanted, and just it was kind of just weird of how quickly people have bought into the belief in the next guy, though, I think is the biggest thing.
I think you saw a lot of that with that next man mentality with, you saw that with Jackson Greer this season coming in for Pavoloni, and he had a phenomenal year during that time where Pavoloni was hurt. Kyle Booker also didn't see a ton of playing time, but you saw that next man mentality. And I think that, you guys just creating that culture and, implementing it really helped this team. And, it becomes contagious. And
for sure.
And is that something that, is that Vitello coming down, that's this whole staff coming down, or is that something that y'all did as a group and it just kind of worked?
I think it mainly stemmed from our strength coach, Quentin Everhart. Okay. I want to say that one because just some of the stuff we do with him is just it's more mental than physical, to be honest with you. And he wanted us to believe that we could be great and stuff like that. We talked about it back in the fall, is how like you guys are very talented, but can you be great and stuff like that. So I think it started with him, kind of went to the coaches, but then, I mean, once the season kicked around, it was on us. And from then on, I think it just stemmed from us believing in each other and knowing that if we're working all together and pulling from the same side of the rope, a lot of good things can happen.
And I think that was kind of because we've talked with Kiv several times, that interesting to how you put it, like the belief in others. I mean, always have that back mentality, but how that can definitely drastically change. And you definitely see that. And I think that's kind of been the most fun and kind of why this fan base has rallied around you all. The swagger you all carry yourself. I mean, Landon's got the villain shirt on. People hate Tennessee baseball. It's fun being hated. Like I love I texted Ross after your all's the walk-off grand slam, and I was like, seeing every Vandy fan tweeting how much they hate the celebration is so much. Like I've never watched a Vanderbilt baseball game that they weren't playing Tennessee. I don't care about them. Yeah. So the fact that they care about you all, and so like it's been so like what. How's that? I mean, it's very unique. The daddy cap was very organic. What's the as far as bat flip situation goes? Who has the best bat flip? Who has the best celebration post home run celly?
I mean, obviously it's Drew.
Is it?
It has to be Drew, because he hits him far enough and knows he gets him, so might as well. But definitely the best one though of the whole entire year was Jordan Beck's walk-off home run. I mean, I've never seen somebody take their shin guard and elbow guard off before the ball hits the ground, but he did it. And that was pretty cool. But, I mean, if you hit a ball that far, I think you should have a little bit of a right to do it. So,
yeah, make the game fun again.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to do it, because a guy is going to strike me out and yell, "Let's go" in my face. If I get one over the fence, I might as well do it back.
Yeah,
because there's no repercussion of that. So I don't see any harm in it.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time around the base. Did anybody yell heads when Drew Gilbert threw that bat against Rice State?
I sure hope so. The real heads.
He threw with no regard for anybody.
No, the true heads up call was when he about came into the pile and he like slung his helmet and it ended up over at second base and it almost hit like three people before he walked in. So that was the real heads up of the whole play.
I think Jordan Beck is kind of when y'all kind of got put on like people's national radar, but the Drew Gilbert bat flips, that's when y'all became villains. Like nobody wants to see that, but that's what made this team so fun to watch. Like They just didn't care. And like, I don't consider you a villain. You're a pretty nice guy, but like Drew and Evan Russell, those guys could be considered a villain. I could see them on like a television show being the supervillain.
Well, someone mentioned it actually. Your three-run homer against Mississippi State. Is that right? In the SEC, I can't remember. I'm trying to think back to it.
SEC.
It was a bomb. Did you get a good bat flip in or a good? I'm trying to remember back to it, and there's been a lot of home runs between. So
no, see, I've never been able to like kind of do it. The most I'll do is like a little one, and I kind of do it even if I hit like a single. So, but also I decided to hit it to like one of the deepest parts of the park because I was like, wow, I knew I hit that good. I'm still looking at it, and like I'm seeing their center fielder run over, and I was like, no way he's about to catch that baseball. So like I was coming out of the box, I was like, I'm yelling at the baseball, get over the wall. I see him jump, and like I see him spin around, and obviously he doesn't have a ball, and I was like, thank God, I can jog now.
Yeah, you gotta wait for the bat flip on those. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sven said, hey, Pete, I'm still mad about that 3-run shot against my Bulldogs in Hoover. That was a great blast. So I don't know what your favorite – I was going to ask you what your favorite moment is, but seeing a Mississippi State fan in a chat saying congrats on that bomb is pretty cool too.
Well, and it kicks off where you all run rule them. It was just a special day. What was that like, run rolling 2 teams in the SEC tournament? Did you all going into that, obviously you don't even have that thought. Did you ever even like look back? Have you been like, we run rolled 2 teams in a postseason SEC tournament play?
Now that I really hadn't even thought about that until you said it, because I just remember I didn't get to go to Hoover my first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finally got there, and then we're one and done. I was like, wow, my time in Hoover was about 2.5 days long. So I was like, luckily we had the bye. So I was like, well, I'm guaranteed to stay in Hoover longer than I ever have. And then that whole deal.
A good thing or a bad thing?
It's only that 1 week.
It was a good thing that year. It was a good thing that year.
1 week out of the year, it's good to be in Hoover, and that's it.
Yeah. And then, like with the whole deal with the Alabama game, that was just kind of like, how are we going to respond? Because obviously that was kind of just a kick in the teeth with everything that happened that game.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew Mississippi State was a great team, and we just wanted to – and we were playing at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. Haven't got up that early since high school travel ball when I was like 17. Yeah, it was crazy. But just to do that like 2 days in a row, we were just – I think we had so much fun just kind of like nobody kind of wants to be up right now. Might as well, because we had to get up anyway, so might as well do it. And then we'd go out and do it.
Yeah,
it was nice to see you do it against Alabama too. That really –
right. Yeah, get the payback, and then you run rule now the national championship. That's pretty cool. Not a lot of teams can say that they run rolled the national championship team. So favorite moment. I'll just go there. Was it the 3-run bomb, or do you have another favorite moment? It doesn't have to be. If it's for yourself, great. If it's from the team, that's cool too.
I mean, it had to be. If I had to, I would choose 3.
Okay.
One was the one off Cops, just because of when I hit it, I was like, I knew I got it, so I could take my time right away. Like, not just sprint out of the box, I could just jog. I wasn't gonna pip one off him. We were already down 3, and he's earned a little bit of that respect.
Yeah.
With what he did, but just to hear all the people in the stadium at Hoover just kind of yelling as I'm rounding the bases that was really cool. The being able to dogpile at Lindsey Nelson with the Super Regional was I mean, we were up like 9, and my heart is racing, nervous, like what is about to happen. And then the guy hammers a ball, Rucker catches it. I was like, oh my God, we did it. Now it's please somebody don't hurt somebody. But that moment was just unbelievable because nobody left that stadium for like 30 minutes. And to kind of take that in. But then the ovation I got that same game after my last at bat at Lindsey Nelson, that was really cool. But in my head, I had kind of thought about it. I was like, what what if that happens? What am I going to do? How am I going to react? Stuff like that. But in my head, I hit a double, not a single. So I was like, didn't completely get it true. But that was cool.
No, and that standing ovation, I mean, that's we mentioned it before you hopped on the show. You're the you'll be the record holder, I would imagine, for forever, that 225 games appearing in orange. For you to get to go off in that moment in a super regional at home to a standing ovation, that was pretty freaking cool. Not a lot of athletes are going to get that opportunity to end their career at any, whether it be professional, college, anywhere in that kind of moment. So that was really cool. And I think we even got to hear from your dad too that day. I think he was on the news and talked about how much Tennessee meant to you. So
the funny part about my dad getting interviewed after that game is he had no idea. He thought he was just talking to somebody. And like, I think in the video you can see like my mom just like this, just like smiling, nodding her head to like what he's saying. And she knows like she's been getting filmed or he's getting filmed. And I was like, cause I got the notification from like the news site that about like him, whatever he said that day. I was like, you're on the news, right? And all over Twitter. He goes, what? I was like, yeah. My mom goes, the guy that you were talking to was filming you the whole time. He had no idea.
That's an in the moment guy right there. That's just
for sure.
He's just at the game. Nothing else.
Dad's dad right there.
No, he probably didn't want to look at the guy to let him know that he'd probably been crying the entire game.
Oh, what's funny is like I actually saw your dad there at the game after the game, and he was emotional. So that was it was really cool to see.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. He's a little bit of a emotional person, but love him to death, and he can't help it.
Yeah, every dad's got a soft side. I mean, my dad just got 2 new puppies, and he got bored one day at the house and just drove them around. 2 like little girl wiener dogs is just riding around Knoxville with 2 girl wiener dogs in his little Camry. So every dad's got a soft side, and his is coming out. As you get older, that it seems to come out a little bit. Yeah. Man, Pete, what's next for you, man?
So hopefully within the next couple days, I get a phone call that lets me know I'm still playing baseball.
Yeah.
So as of right now, that's what I'm hoping for, and it will probably be a late Tuesday deal or maybe something after everything's said and done. But I mean, hopefully that's what works out and what I ideally want to happen. If not, it's a really good question because kind of got to figure that out. But having the 2 degrees thing, I'll just start using some connections, stuff like that. Go get me a job. I guess. So
coaching is not on your radar at all, or are you sure you don't have another COVID year? Are you positive on that?
Yeah, I mean, if I had one, I would use it for sure. I don't know about the whole coaching thing. I mean, I'd like to do it in some regard, but also it would have to be something I would think about because it would definitely be something I would consider doing. But at the same time, that's another really big commitment that I would have to think of and kind of weigh pros and cons with everything.
That's later on down the road. You got plenty of baseball left.
For sure.
Yeah. Hopefully, when Knoxville gets that new stadium, hopefully we get to see you play in it someday.
That would be ideal.
That'd be pretty cool. Well, cool, man. Well, Caleb, do you have anything else?
I think that's it, and we appreciate you hopping on. We've enjoyed watching you at Tennessee, and hope to continue following you as well. And this year was special. I know, especially for you too, to get to do it one more time. So we do appreciate your time on today's show, but also what you and those guys did in the clubhouse for Tennessee baseball. I'm excited for the future. We've been following it pretty much since we've been doing this podcast for 4.5 years. So right before the regeneration of the program, and it's been a fun follow with you guys and Tony Vitello. So thank you all for all you've done, and it's been a blast, and we really appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys.
All right, see Pete. Good luck, man.
See you guys. Thanks.
Yep. That was Vol for Life. Pete Derkay, we appreciate him hopping on. He just finished up his actually 5th year at Tennessee. He got that, Yeah, 5th year. Got that COVID year, so I guess 4.5 really. But all-time leader in appearances in orange, and we'll see what's next for him. It is the MLB draft tonight.
The start, yeah.
The start of it. I don't know how many rounds are there tonight. Honestly,
So they do the first round tonight. It's kind of like the NFL. They do the first round tonight. I think they have some comp picks as well, and then they'll do 2 through 10 tomorrow.
Gotcha.
And then they will do 11 through 20 on Tuesday.
And there's just 20 now, right?
Yes, just 20. Yep.
They've moved it down. So I'm not going to hear my name called this year. That's unfortunate.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah, if we get to around like 115, I'm feeling good. 20, I'll leave that to the real guys. I want to know.
Like Caleb Mitchell, that's not a hard name. Like
that's true.
Somebody could write that in.
Joshua Mitchell feels safer, so maybe we can.
There you go.
Yeah, I feel like with all the
Mitch. Yeah. That sounds like a baseball name.
It does kind of sound like a baseball name. How many rounds did there used to be? 115 was obviously an exaggeration.
45.
Was it 45? I was about to say 45. I feel like I could sneak. Right. I feel like I could sneak my name in at 43.
Yeah, you'd never know.
Right. Like I can get my name 43 for 45. I can squeeze my name in there. So that used to be my favorite joke about MLB draft day. I text my brothers, "Do you guys get called today?" Who are they even calling at this point in round 45? Right. So let's talk a little bit about the MLB draft because some Vols are Vol commits, I guess, Vol signees. They're not on campus yet, may never be on campus. Some guys like Pete Derkay is going to be looking to hear their name called here in the next couple days.
Yeah, so some guys, you'll probably hear if you haven't already. Are you watching it?
I'm not. I'm trying to get it pulled up, dude. My TV's been arse today.
Too.
Connect the internet.
Nice. Get that potato Wi-Fi. I love it.
It's wired. That's what I don't understand.
Oh, nice.
He was taking Brady House is taking number 11 to the Washington Nationals.
Okay. That's not so he's a guy I thought he'd be a top 10 pick. Ended up at 11. He's not gonna ever step foot on campus.
No.
And you might see Chase Burns' name get called tonight. He probably will be an early day 2 pick. But Ryan Spikes is another high school athlete out of the state of Georgia. Middle infielder. Seth Stevenson's a JUCO guy, middle infielder. He could hear his name called. Dayton Dooney, who was at Arizona his freshman year and then went to junior college. He's another middle infielder. I think he's second baseman, but middle infielder. Christian Moore is another middle infielder that could hear his name called maybe later on in the draft. And then Logan Chambers is, I think, a third baseman from the junior college ranks. And then you have some Tennessee Vols hoping to hear their name. Max Ferguson, Jake Rucker, Chad Dallas, Liam Spence, Connor Pavoloni, Jackson Leith, Sean Hunley, and then Camden Sewell. And then you also have Luke Lipsius, Redmond Walsh, Evan Russell, Pete Derkay. Did I mention Chad Dallas? Did I say Chad Dallas?
I think you mentioned Chad Dallas. But if not, it was at least obvious. So.
Yeah. So you have a lot of guys hoping to hear their name. And, I think probably the first one off the board will probably be Max Ferguson. Mm-hmm. I just think, when you see a second baseman with the athleticism, the power, him being able to steal bases, stretch singles into doubles, doubles into triples. I just think that's going to wow some scouts. So he's probably the first one taken off the board. But Tennessee's it's kind of a weird moment. Like you want to see guys taken as high as they can go, but then again you don't because you want them back on campus.
Yeah, so, no, it's definitely just like bittersweet.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to see these guys getting signed early because it means big bonuses. But yeah, obviously also you want Tennessee baseball to be good. So baseball is just one of those, it's got to be difficult to recruit for. Cause like, yeah, you want to go out and recruit the best guys, but you've also got to find a balance of like the guys that will actually enroll.
Right.
So it's not just the best guys. It's also the best guys that will be in school. And so that's interesting for sure. Anything else for the MLB draft?
You're just going to have a lot of kids that's going to have to make a tough decision. Like even if they hear their name called, they could still end up at Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Chase Burns is one that we've kind of, seen lately that could maybe end up on campus, but any other year he probably doesn't.
Right.
Just because like he's rejected he's the number 47 overall prospect. Usually when they're that high, they're going. But, he recently had a picture on campus with Frank Anderson. He is a Tennessee guy from Beach High School up in Hendersonville. So, maybe he does end up on campus. But Brady House, yeah. See ya. Thanks for signing your national letter of intent. But
it's going to be like Mookie Betts. He's going to be a VFL. So cool.
There you go.
Cool.
But it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens, where guys end up. But Tennessee's losing a lot of their infield, so they'd like to get some of these middle infielders, the high school guys, JUCO guys on campus for sure. So they're kind of fighting a battle right now to kind of keep guys, but there is that new recruiting pitch. Hey, you can make some money. You saw Drew Gilbert already, have a shirt and everything, have a little deal there. So, maybe that's something they can sell down the road to some of these guys that they could end up drafted.
Yeah, and it won't, like we mentioned, it won't keep the Brady Houses, at Tennessee. He's got
he's not $1 million, like millions of dollars.
I was going to say millions of dollars today, or I don't know when that actually hits the account, but soon. But yeah, the NIL could make it interesting for baseball. Maybe keep some of those guys that go later around. All right, let's talk recruiting. Also, I didn't turn on the MLB draft because the game 3's on right now. And I've seen more flopping in the final 15 seconds of the first quarter than I did all day at the Euro. So I'm if you want to say soccer's boring and all that, that's fine. I'll accept it. But I'm sick of hearing they flop and cry. Dude, basketball players do it more than anybody. I'm not hearing that anymore. If you want to say it's boring, that's fine. You can just not enjoy the sport. That's okay. That doesn't bother me. But don't make up crap about it. That's annoying.
I wish they would just like in basketball, I wish officials just wouldn't call it. If they wouldn't call it, people would do it, right?
Well, it's like not even that. Like Ante Tecumbo just had a play there at the end. He tried to draw a foul at the buzzer. And then okay, if you're going to try and draw a foul, I'm okay with that. And if you're going to if it takes you falling on the ground to try and get it, that's fine. But then he gets bumped into and just flops on the floor. And it's no, that you don't get to try and draw a technical. Yeah, that's not what we're doing. So it's that's the stuff that annoys me. Is it those
are the real villains, right?
Yeah. I don't mind Chris Paul who goes in and he'll bump off a guy and go to the floor. You're just playing ball at that point. But if you're going to
he's 6 foot tall too, so he's kind of he's 6 foot even.
Right. But the guys who the soccer players that go down and grab their knee when they go down. No. You don't get to do that. If you want to hit the ground trying to draw a foul, I'm okay with that. But don't flop and cry. That's the annoying part.
Right.
So all right, more commits for Tennessee. We left you on Wednesday, talked some commitments, but left you on Wednesday and got
two more.
Yeah,
we talked about one that we'd probably get the next day. So Thursday, Squirrel White or Macquarius White out of Pinson, Alabama. He's a 3-star wide receiver, one of the fastest wide receivers in this class. He runs a 10.68 100 meter, 21.58 200 meter. That's pretty
good too. Yeah,
pretty damn fast. He's a guy that has a good offer list: Alabama, Auburn. If you got an Alabama offer, I'm cool with it. Georgia, Kentucky, Michigan. So he's got Mississippi State, Missouri, Ole Miss. He got a ton of offers. I think he got a huge bump in his ratings. I think he was around 800 on 247. Now he's 522nd. Yep.
It helps getting that commitment in, I think. I don't know why. It's funny. It's they move up when they commit.
Yeah, it's usually when it's Tennessee, it usually goes the opposite. But yeah, it's nice to see guys getting that bump up when they commit to Tennessee. But yeah, it's Tennessee's first wide receiver commit in this 2022 class, and I think they're up to 10 commits
right
now. With the addition of Mo Clipper, who they got. Was that on Friday or was that on Thursday too? I think that was on Friday. Mo Clipper committed. He's a 3-star offensive tackle from Alpharetta, Georgia, Milton High School, one of the best high schools in the state of Georgia. He's also one of the best offensive linemen in the state of Georgia. I think they're in 5A. But also has a offer from Alabama. Offer from Georgia.
Yeah, And Tennessee's not going to get Tennessee doesn't get the pick of the litter right now. Like,
yeah,
it's just not the way it is.
But I think they really like this kid. I think his running back was also on an official visit when he did. But they took Dylan Sampson as their running back commit, and he ended up coming to Tennessee. But it's good that you're able to still get that offensive lineman. Need a lot of bodies on that offensive line, so they add another one.
Good point.
And then some more recruiting news. Walter Nolan. Now we're talking about not the pick of the litter, and I mean that's the what do they call like the I know the runt is the one you don't want. What is the prized of the litter?
No, I have no idea. Is there such a thing, or is there
maybe I'm just overthinking that. Maybe there's not. Anyway, he would be it. Whatever it is, he would be it. 5-star, the number 3, number 2, arguably the number 1 player in the country.
Right.
And number 1 player in Tennessee got offers from. He could just pick a school at random, and they're going to have a spot for him.
Well, and he originally did like a top 10 a while ago and left Tennessee out, right?
Top 8.
Top 8. Okay. Top 8.
Yeah. Top 8 left Tennessee out, and then Tennessee's back in his top 5 with Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, and Florida.
It's like MySpace. MySpace we need to do recruiting profiles that look like MySpace, and the guys need to go up there and update their like top friends, their top schools.
Right. Yeah.
Rip to the MySpace days. Credence asked if we could keep you updated on the MLB draft. Brady House went to the Washington Nationals. That's really the only update right now.
Yeah, Mississippi State's Will Bednar just went, I think, 14th to the Giants. So, little right-handed pitcher, national championship. So there's your update, I guess. The most recent update is Will Bednar's going to Mississippi State or going to the Giants. He's going to San Francisco.
Gotcha.
You also have Cam Miller, the 4-star wide receiver from Memphis, is making his college decision tomorrow. So we'll see.
Any crystal balls, anything like that for Tennessee?
I don't think he had any crystal balls, but he has taken an official visit to Tennessee in the month of June. So I would say we're the favorite.
Gotcha.
I'm checking to see if we are or not, but I don't think we have. We were when I last checked.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but he's from Memphis Academy of Health and Sciences. We do have a crystal ball. It just came in from Ole Miss insider David Johnson. Posted it at 6:25 p.m. today.
There you go. Yeah, Credence just said he got a crystal ball today. So there you go.
Yeah, that's going to be big. One of the top wide receiver, one of the top players in the state of Tennessee. I think that's big to get that. Jerry Mack and Cody Burns are in that one. Jerry Mack has those Memphis ties, so that's good to see Tennessee's getting back in the city of Memphis and recruiting guys.
Yeah, that reminds me. We'll talk after. Just remind me Memphis recruiting after.
Oh God, is this going to be bad?
It's not bad. It's just I don't want to talk about it right
now.
Okay. Let's keep talking football.
But Cam Miller is going to make his decision at 1 Eastern time tomorrow. So
there you go. Edge of our seats. Some people are. I'm just like, so let's get into the season. I have no real good hopes, and then we'll figure it out from there. I'm sorry. I know it sounds just so pessimistic, but I'm just.
It kind of is what it is. You got to put together as good of a class as you can and develop guys when they get here.
Hopefully you win some games and maybe move the needle with some higher ranked guys. I mean, better players. I don't know, but let's look into this fall. We do want to talk about what the most important or the biggest game. Most important is kind of how I took it, how I'm using it. The most important game this fall. And we talked about, we did a little bit of we didn't dive into it, but we did some like predictions of like where we thought Tennessee could sit last week and just discuss where this team is. And that's kind of why I picked my most important game this fall. How did you approach that as far as like biggest game this fall? Is it like one that you think could turn the season or start the season, or how did you approach it?
I'm thinking of more as like from like preseason. What's the game that I circle and like, we have to win that game.
So you're doing like a must, like just a flat. I guess you'll explain it too, but is it just like a must win? Like, is that really all you're kind of taking into it, or?
Yeah, I think it's a gauge of maybe where Tennessee is really at.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if mine's too early. I think to like fairly say it's a gauge because I think it could. I mean, obviously you'll see where Tennessee's at in that day, but I don't think it could necessarily mean what it means for the whole season. And so, like, my most important, the biggest game for me this fall, I think it's Pitt. I think Pitt's a really, really winnable game. It's obviously early on, so set the tone for the season. I don't think if you go and beat Pitt, does that mean you're going to even compete with Florida or beat Missouri or, go beat Missouri, South Carolina back-to-back weeks? I don't necessarily think it means that. I just think Pitt's a good enough football team that's a good win. That's a good win. You're obviously it's another Power 5 team. You get to do it in Neyland. If you beat Pitt in Neyland, I think Florida, or sorry, not Florida because it's at Florida, but like South Carolina and Ole Miss, like those are going to be packed houses where I think it'll be those games. Like if you go beat Pitt in Neyland, you're competitive with Florida. Like it can really kind of
jumpstart your
jumpstart for sure. I mean, obviously, if you do beat Pitt, you have to take care of business with Bowling Green and Tech. Like you can't go out and lay eggs in those games. And I think Bowling Green's picked to win like 2 games this season. Tennessee Tech's obviously an FCS team, so like those do play in favor. I don't think that'll be the case. Cody Branch said if we win against Pitt, he thinks it'll be the best shot against Florida since 2017. He just thinks Florida looked like shit against Oklahoma in their bowl game. I don't know enough about Florida at this point, honestly, to say. I know we'll probably do some game previews here, and I'll learn a little bit more and confidently say it. Right now, what I know about Tennessee, I'm not even saying Tennessee, this could propel them to beat Florida. Like, I'm not willing to say that. But Tennessee has a chance against Pitt. It's the second game of the season. I mentioned it's a Power 5 opponent. Like I said, I think it can kind of tell you where Tennessee's at. I don't think it'll necessarily be the 100% correct answer, but I think it gives you a good gauge. And I mean, if you beat Pitt, now we're talking about realistically being able to win 6 games if Pitt's a win in there.
Yeah. I think I would go with the same thing. I'll switch it up a little bit just to be different. But yeah, like Pitt, like you should be 3-0 heading into Florida if you take care of business against Pitt. You got to go do it, but yeah, you should be 3-0 if you take care of business against Pitt. And I think that helps. It is in Neyland Stadium. I mean, obviously we haven't seen this coaching staff coach in Neyland Stadium, but you like your chances at home a lot better than you do on the road, especially with a new staff. And so yeah, I think that helps. And talking about Florida just a little bit. I mean, yeah, they look like crap in their bowl game against Oklahoma, and they also lose their 2 best players. And
that's true.
Kyle Pitts and Kyle Trask. Yep. So I mean that at least gives you hope, right?
No, losing. I think Trask was a good quarterback, but losing Pitts is obviously the biggest loss. I mean, it's going to be one of the bigger losses in the SEC in terms of like most valuable player. So did you say Florida is going to be your biggest game? Is that what
I'm actually going to say Ole Miss.
Okay.
I think just because like obviously the Kiffin thing, I think that's. It's going to be a storyline. It's going to be beat into the dirt. But
I do like that. I like that. I don't think it means anything for the staff or team. Like this team, this program's so far removed from it. It'll be a storyline because of the fan base.
Right.
But I do like if that played into it. I'm like, man, that's a tough mental hurdle to get over. But this staff and team, they don't give a shit about Lane Kiffin and Tennessee relationship at all. So that gets so far removed. It's going to be a storyline because it's going to be forced on us, but they don't care about him. So that's nice.
Right. But yeah, I think the way that Ole Miss kind of played last year, and they didn't have a great season by any means, but at least they scored points and made things kind of interesting with some teams they probably shouldn't have. So if Tennessee can go in, it's another game at home. If Tennessee can win that game, I think it really kind of sets you up on like a not even like this season for sure, but I think for the future, I think it will probably set you up because you're like, hey, that team had a new staff. We went and had an even newer staff and beat them, and kind of the offenses are similar, I guess, in the style that you run. So I think that'll be a good gauge to see where Tennessee's really at. Obviously, Pitt will be a gauge earlier in the season, but I think for future-wise, I think Ole Miss is probably a bigger game and a game that you could win. I think they got a really good quarterback. They do lose Elijah Moore. Sorry, I don't know why I say Elijah Brown. Elijah Moore, which is probably their best player last year. So, I think it'll be interesting to see how Tennessee fares against a team like Ole Miss that's, offensively very similar, defensively probably very similar just because Tennessee's defense is very slim.
I'm not excited to necessarily see that defense. I'll go one more. Kind of a bigger game, a very important game, and that's Kentucky. Alabama, I think you'll be 0-2 leading up to Kentucky, and then you're going to be 0-1 after Kentucky. So you're staring down 3 losses in 4 weeks because you do get a bye week before Kentucky, and that's why I throw it as one of my more important games. So you get Kentucky on a bye week. You're coming off probably a big loss to Alabama and hopefully tough loss to Ole Miss. Hopefully you play them tight. Like you said, maybe just get outscored in the fourth quarter. And then you're probably going to beat by Georgia. They're just going to be leaps and bounds more talented right now. So that Kentucky game, Tennessee struggled the last couple seasons. Won in 2018 or 2019 on a goal line stand and then lost like you did in 2020. So, Kentucky's kind of got a little bit of momentum to them right now in that series. And as far as talent goes, they're not going to be just way better than Tennessee. It's going to be a very, very winnable game for Tennessee. I don't think it's a guaranteed win by any means, but a very, very winnable game. And where it sits on your schedule, that can really kind of flip the script of because if we're being I think you will be 0-2 going into Kentucky. I think it's possible you could be 1-3, God forbid 0-4. What sucks is South Carolina has a ton of momentum on the recruiting trail, but none of that means anything to this year's. And I got to remind myself of that. So I think Tennessee will be 1-3 going into Kentucky with losses to Missouri, Ole Miss, and Alabama, and a win over South Carolina. So to get to 2-3 in that stretch of games, that doesn't sound good, 5 years ago, but this year I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. You just kind of got to do what you can with this. The schedule kind of sets up to where you should win 5 or 6 games.
The schedule sets up that way for
right,
sure.
Right. You have to go do it, but the schedule sets up for you pretty nicely. It's not like a death row or anything. Yeah, you do have to play Alabama, but that's just something Tennessee's going to have to live with.
And I think we should want it. We talked about I think Tennessee – or first off, I think the SEC just needs to move to a 10-game conference schedule with 2 rotating and one whatever it's called, non-rotating. Right. Because I think the Alabama rivalry is great. I think there's a lot of are there some crappy cross-division rivalries? Sure, like Texas A&M and South Carolina, that one's stupid. But someone was going to kind of get shafted by that. In fact, I think why is it not? Is it Missouri and Arkansas? Is that cross?
Yeah, I think so.
But you've got some good ones as far as Georgia and Auburn, Florida and LSU, like Tennessee and Alabama sometimes, long time ago. But there's just so many good cross-division rivalries that I don't think you should go away from those. I don't know.
Because everybody in the West has to play Alabama too. So so they're going to get beat by Alabama. So it is what it is. Yeah, it's not been a great rivalry for Tennessee.
Nope.
In the past century almost.
We're creeping up on century.
It's kind of sad, actually. Now let's say that. Let's move on from that. But we do have a question about the schedule, so I do want to ask that. So Moody, Al Vol said, football game.
Al.
It's AL.
Surely the domain name was domain name.
It's at Vol Moody. We'll just go with that. It's Moody, Al Vol.
I just got to think it's all.
I think they did their Al Moody is the name.
Oh, okay.
But they did Moody, Al.
I'm with you.
I think that's what. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just trying. He said football games most likely to win that we are not favored in and lose that we are favored in.
So repeat that the first part of that question.
Football game most likely to win that we are not favored
in. Most likely to win that we won't be favored in. I've got to think it'll be like either Missouri or Kentucky. And Kentucky's so late in the season, I think we could be favored in that one. I don't think we'll be favored in Missouri. Let me go look at where their team could be, though. Let me glance at their schedule. I think I'd say Missouri, though. I don't think you'll be favored in it, and I think you've got a pretty good chance of winning it as far as just like what you see on paper right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kentucky because I just think it's Kentucky, number one.
Well, and I'm just curious if we'll be favored in it, though.
Yeah, I mean that could be a possibility, but like going into the season, if they were to play tomorrow, Tennessee would not be favored in it.
No, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, so that's a good point. And if we're just basing it off like right now, yeah, then probably Kentucky. But Missouri plays Central Michigan, Kentucky, Southeastern Missouri State, and Boston College. They'll be 3-1, maybe 4-0 when they see Tennessee, probably looking decent. So I think they definitely will be favored. So I'll say Missouri because I'm going to base it off of like.
Yeah, if they're any worse than 3-1, 4-0, he'll probably be favored.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's possible.
But yeah, also, I just think with Connor Bazelak coming back, that they got Tyler Beatty as well. I just think that they just seem like at a better place than Kentucky. Like Kentucky's got a new quarterback.
Yeah.
I think some of their offensive line is gone. Their best corner who had a pick six is gone.
A pick six, that's sad to say. Not the pick six. A single one of them that happened in that game. Max Todd said Florida. He thinks Florida's overrated.
Ooh, I like it.
I will probably agree with the overrated statement, but the key part of the question asked is Tennessee has a chance of winning.
And it's also that same thing where like, yeah, Kentucky's going to be favored, but like Tennessee should win.
Right.
Florida, like it's kind of that same rivalry where like Tennessee just it's tough to beat Florida.
Can't get over the hump. Kentucky can't hardly get over the hump with Tennessee. They've won in
we just
Butch's last year in
17 points.
Yeah,
for them to win at home or win in Neyland Stadium.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. I don't know. We'll see. That I like that question though. That was a good one. Any more regarding the schedule or upcoming?
It said and lose that we are favored in.
Lose that we're favored in. I'm gonna. That's what's funny. So that's a funny question. I would think Kentucky might be one of those where we might be favored and could lose. So that's really funny. But I think South Carolina. I don't think you'll be favored against Missouri. I doubt you will be against Kentucky. I don't think you'll be favored against Pitt. I mean, I guess there's a chance, but I don't see it happening. It is in Neyland. So if that spread's close, Tennessee might get like you might see them at like -3 or something like that. But I think it's South Carolina. I think you're going to be favored against South Carolina. And I think roll the dice, I think, as far as I'm concerned with Missouri, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Kentucky this year. I think you could close your eyes, blindly pick, and the odds don't change for you, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was looking at Ole Miss's schedule to see kind of where they would be, but they play Louisville, Austin Peay, Tulane, Alabama, Arkansas.
Yeah, they'll probably look good coming into Tennessee.
They'll probably be favored. Yeah, I mean it probably is, like you said, South Carolina, and that's a team like they were terrible last year. We beat them.
Yeah,
we were terrible last year. We beat them.
We weren't terrible at that point yet, though. We were still
right. We were rolling. Yeah. I guess Pitt is probably one too.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where Tennessee opens there with Pitt. Whether Pitt's favored or Tennessee's favored, I'm really just not sure. Yeah, if Tennessee is favored, I think Pitt would be my number one pick there as far as games that you could lose. But I just don't know where they'll be. We'll see about that when that time comes. I think that's why I said South Carolina is I think you will be favored in South Carolina.
Yeah. So
that's why I said that, but we'll see.
What do you think about the 31-point spread against Bowling Green?
Sure, whatever.
You're picking Bowling Green to cut. Like, what would you pick right now if you stay away, cover, or Bowling Green to cover?
I wouldn't touch it. If I was going to touch it, I would take Tennessee to cover.
Okay.
Bowling Green's terrible.
They are terrible.
So it's like, I mean, you're seeing an offense that you probably have limited film on, especially considering you don't have any film on the players playing in it, in that offense. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't touch
I'm
it.
probably staying away. It's just that's a lot of points.
I'm staying away. I mean, I can't wait to bust out. I was telling one of my buddies this week, I'm a pretty good college football gambler. Everything else, cancel out. Not worth it. I don't watch enough. I don't watch enough of it to be good at it.
Right.
Even college basketball. I don't think I watch enough of it to be good at it. It's also it's got to be the most unpredictable sport in the world. It has to be.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, yeah, and then NFL is just hard, I think, just because the spreads are so tight. It's not like college football. I do kind of cherry pick college football, but that's why I'm good at it, because I can cherry pick it. I can't really cherry pick NFL games. If the spread's big, I'll bet against the team and lose because they'll play them close. The Jacksonville Jaguars decide to go out and beat, or Miami that's the week they beat New England in that year. So
we're always picking Alabama to cover.
I mean, you pretty much did that this year. I stay away from Alabama. I don't like touching Alabama's lines.
They want some money. If they're going to do one good thing for me, at least win me some money.
Well, if I had known this year they were going to almost, surpass freaking LSU's offensive numbers, yeah, I would have ridden that out. I didn't have a ton of faith in Mac Jones. I thought he would be he impressed me this year, I'll say that. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Cody actually mentioned real quick before we move on, Cody Branch said he thinks Kiffin gets Saban in year 2. I mean, God, Kiffin's going to get Saban here soon. Just because when you score that many points, it's almost just like one mistake away from being in the game and winning the game. So
I got a hot take. He's never going to get Saban.
You don't think he's ever going to get him?
No.
Okay. Now, when you say get, like you don't think he'll ever beat Saban?
No, I don't.
Do you think Saban's retiring this year?
No, I don't think he'll get him before Saban retires. In however
7-8 years.
Yeah, I don't think.
Do you think he dies at Alabama? Is that morbid to say?
I think he has such good like health care that he probably never dies. They probably just freeze him every night.
He did get a new hip.
Yeah, he's probably just becomes a robot.
Yeah, I think he said he got a new hip. I think it was a joke, but I think they were like, "Are you still going to play basketball?" And he's like, "Why do you think I got it?" He plays basketball every day.
Really?
Yeah, they do coaches.
Saban's little hooper.
Apparently, a little hooper is correct. He's shorter than me, I think. So
he's a little
you got little right.
Yeah.
But apparently they're like, "Are you going to play basketball?" That's why I got a new hip. He's like, "If I didn't play basketball, I wouldn't have had this surgery."
There you go.
So yeah, that's funny.
I wonder what kind of shoes he wears. You think he's like a Converse guy or like a?
I bet he wear. I bet he's got the new LeBrons on. They're Nike, yeah, new LeBrons.
There you go. Okay.
Or do you think he might wear Jordans? I don't know.
I thought he'd be more of like a Kobe guy too.
He could be. That's a good point. I don't know.
Well,
his mentality is different than Kobe and Jordan's. He's a LeBron guy for sure. They have the same kind of crying about things that don't really make sense. Like when Saban cries about the student section leaving against Louisiana Tech, that's something LeBron would do.
Yeah.
They cry about the dumbest stuff.
He could be maybe a Kyrie guy too. He could be like the earth is flat kind of
guy. Max said he doesn't think Kiffin gets him either. His best shot was last year with that talent. But Alabama's talent, that's the thing. That's my only thing is Alabama's talent.
I will say this is probably new quarterback, young quarterback.
Yeah.
Losing a Heisman candidate, losing the Heisman, losing the wide receivers that you did. Yeah, I mean, this is probably the best season, or the best shot you got.
And I don't think Saban drops off as a coach losing Sark because he's been who he is. But you do lose Sark, a guy who is a good quarterback guy, is a good offense coordinator. You did lose him too.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah. All right, let's move to basketball a little bit. Kennedy Chandler, first off, on Saturday had that scary fall. Thankfully landed on his face and not his neck. I mean, close to his neck, but landed on his face. It's interesting preference, I know. But they were playing
a very scary moment.
They were playing in Latvia, which is hilarious to me that there's a world basketball championship in Latvia. I don't know. I feel like people say Latvia like it's a made-up country, so it cracks me up that it happened there. But they did defeat
Pokemon.
Yeah, they did defeat the France U19 team to win gold.
Gold, baby.
And Kenny Chandler even played today.
Yeah, I think he had 7 rebounds, 5 points in the game. So yeah, pretty good outing. I don't think he started. I think he was kind of that sixth man, pretty much the whole tournament. But yeah, good outing from him. Kind of filled up the stat sheet a lot, and kind of, I think he was pretty limited today. But I think he was on the floor for that last possession, and ended up, getting gold. So bring that gold magic over to Knoxville, and let's go win us a natty real quick. Hopefully, just please don't have any more of those falls, because that's every Tennessee fan was just like, oh my God.
Right. No, it was funny.
How does this happen?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And then you had Ronald Acuna, so the Tennessee fans and Braves fans.
Yeah.
And that was
yesterday
was a rough day for them.
I don't even know how it happened. It was such a weird play.
It was weird.
He jumped before the warning track. It was very strange. It was a very strange play. Hey, what happened to U.S. losing to Nigeria? I saw the score, but who didn't play? Who played? What happened?
They just got beat.
They just got did they play they're legit starters?
Yeah, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook,
yikes,
Dame. Who else is on that team?
I don't know. Who does not? Do you know who Nigeria has though?
No. I don't think they have anybody that's just oh yeah, that dude.
Yeah, they don't have any hoopers. A couple ballers, no hoopers.
Yeah, they just. It's probably a team that's played a lot of basketball together.
Maybe maybe, possibly.
So yeah, you should never they got Jason Tatum too. I forgot about that. That's probably their best player, honestly, besides Kevin Durant. Bradley Beal's on that team. Kevin Love. Yeah, they just
got beat. That's hilarious. I think
that
was my fail. So
I'm trying to think. Nigeria made 20 of 42 3-pointers.
Wow. So they were just jacking them up. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. What's your do you have do we have any more questions? I think we do.
We do. And some of these are about baseball. I forgot to get to them, but I'll get to them now. This is Valde Long says, will the NIL affect the draft and who might come back next year? I think it's definitely a recruiting tool that you can try to get guys to come back or, step foot on campus.
Right.
I think it really helps that Drew Gilbert already has a deal in place. That's something you can really point to and be like, hey, it is possible for baseball players to get that as well. Yeah, I think it'll be added. I don't know how much weight it really pulls.
And so this is just about baseball, or is it a question regarding just any college athlete?
I think they're talking about because they replied to the show, so I think it's about the MLB draft.
Gotcha. I don't,
but it could affect all of them.
I think it'll affect MLB for the guys that don't go very high. I think it'll affect some NFL. Maybe those bubble guys who are probably, they're on a practice squad, but they're probably not on a, probably not going to be on a team yet. I think and it's too depending on what do they mean to the campus, because that's how they make money. Is do people know who they really are at Tennessee? Can they profit off their likeness? Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be a very, very case by case basis, but I think it'll definitely affect it with basketball and football too.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see if this G League thing starts to take off. Soon the G League could be paying a fair amount of money too.
Right. Yeah. That's a good. A lot of those. Jalen Green will probably be a top 5 draft pick. He was in the G League. He could have went. I think he was looking at Auburn. But yeah, could have went to pretty much anywhere in the country.
Dang, Auburn can't pay $100,000 salary anymore.
Yes,
what happened? Dang.
The big ass offer wasn't big enough, I guess.
Dang, the pandemic really hit some programs hard. Feel for them. Feel for those programs.
Yeah. The Plains aren't paying as much. There's a little hint for you. Big Orange Hypel asks, what's the best way to keep Tennessee baseball on a sustained path?
We keep Tony Vitello around.
Yeah.
Do what the man wants. You tweeted out there's some kind of construction going on over at Lindsey Nelson right now. Not clear exactly what it is, or do we have clarification?
I don't know exactly what it was, They were doing some concrete work. I don't know exactly what kind of concrete work they're doing.
Foundation work, if you will.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that you can get that left field line done.
No, I expect it to be done next.
Because I mean, they did the right field. You know, they did that whole deck in a year. So yeah, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Hopefully, that's what they're doing. But yeah, I don't know for sure, but that would be my guess. But yeah, like going back to the question, yeah, it's keeping Tony Vitello. It's keeping being able to pay some of the staff more money, get them some raises. You know, we had Pete, mention strength and conditioning coach Eberhardt. You know, he's a guy that had a lot of. I think that Vitello said that he had a lot of opportunities to go elsewhere, be in the major leagues, and decided to stay at Tennessee. So, yeah, you're going to have to pay him, Frank Anderson, Josh Elander. You want to get those guys some money and keep them around to keep this, train rolling. Absolutely. And also you just got to keep recruiting. It's kind of a tough situation. It's going to be a big draft year for Tennessee. They're going to lose quite a bit in their lineup. But, yeah, you just got to reload. That's what the best teams in the country do in football and baseball. That's what Vanderbilt does every year. So Tennessee's going to have to do that every year. You're not going to get a ton of those 4-year guys. You're not going to get 5-year guys, hopefully, anymore. Hopefully we don't have another pandemic. But, yeah, it's going to be very rare that you get some of those guys, when you're recruiting the best guys in the country.
Yeah. No, I mean, Tennessee's Tony Vitello's done a great job of getting this program in a good spot, and guys want to be here, and that's important. So he doesn't need to do anything different, that's for sure.
Yeah, just keep it rolling, baby.
Yep.
I wish they had Kiv, though.
Correct. It's unfortunate. Hey, that's what Tennessee needs to do. Somehow figure out how to get the paid third assistant.
Yeah.
That's the only thing left to accomplish.
Can they use their name, image, and likeness?
I would think they always could have. I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question.
Can we just say camp and we just do a freaking big ass fundraiser to pay this assistant?
But we should do.
Yeah, sure. For sure. You got anything else? That's all the questions I got.
Okay, that's it as far as other than most important of the week. What do you got for me?
Most important.
I can kick this one off. 14-year-old, I don't know how to say her name, Zelia Avant-Garde. She won the Scripps National Spelling Bee this week, and that girl is a hooper.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I love the way you said that name because it sounded like a principal at graduation.
Yeah, that's
like you
what it was.
Or whoever does it. Yeah, you sound
like I was announcing her. Yeah.
What's the language of origin?
I'm gonna go with probably several actually because it is a hyphenated name, so we're probably dueling this one. But yeah, if you told me to spell that, I would first time I'd never know her name, and then I can't imagine the word she spelled that I have no clue. And the girl could beat me on the basketball court. So
there you go. Yeah.
Dude, her highlight tape is very good. I don't know if
Does she have some spelling highlights?
She might. They should toss those in together. It should be like I don't know, like alley-oop.
I get a full ride basketball and academic scholarship.
A lot of those kids aren't doing multiple things that win those. They're usually pretty focused, like singularly focused on academics or. But so have you seen her highlight yet?
I did see some of it. Yeah.
She just looks way more athletic than any of the girls out there.
And she's probably like the best trash talker out there. Because
is she running her mouth? She just knows all the words.
Yeah, she knows every word. Yeah, exactly.
All of them.
They're so confused. Like, what did she say?
There's nothing worse. And I'm stupid, so this happens to me often. There's nothing worse than getting insulted and not understanding the insult. You're like, I know that was supposed to be mean. I just don't know what it means. And you're like, I got to figure this one out and then be sad about it.
Yeah, let me Google that real quick. Oh, you asshole.
Yeah. And it feels also, not that it happens often from my end, but to insult someone and they don't get it, that feels good. That's like, I get how people have egos about that. My ego swells up when that happens. When they're like, I don't even know what that means. I'm like, yeah, because you're that stupid.
Yeah.
It's the best. You got any most importance?
I know I got some fails for sure. Daniel Camarena. Hopefully, I don't. Camarena?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, he was a AAA player. Got called up for the Padres, and got his first career hit. It was a grand slam off Max Scherzer, and he was a pitcher.
So it was his first career game. He was pitching. Okay. Wow. Well,
hit a grand slam against Max Scherzer, probably the best pitcher in the major.
Yeah, is Shohei Ohtani? Is he changing the game? He's doing the home run derby and pitching.
Yeah, that dude's a freak. I mean,
I love it.
To pick him as MVP is like minus 750. Like, it's stupid. It's not even worth putting any money on. Yeah.
Love that.
Actually, I think it's like minus 200. I think 750 is DeGrom to win the Cy Young.
Gotcha. I've got one more most important. Some dude, Cameron, on Twitter tweeted so this was tweeted in 2013, and he tweeted it like it says Twitter for BlackBerry. So like that's how old this tweet is.
Nice.
He tweeted England. So February 22nd, 2013, England just lost the Euro 2020 final against Italy on a penalty shootout. Nothing has changed then. Tweeted that in 2013. Do you think
time travel's real, man?
Here's my question. Do you think he knew the Euro 2020 took place in 2021? Is he like maybe 2020 was his fault? Maybe like he knew he didn't want people to know he's a time traveler, so he had to go do something.
He created COVID
to get Euro 2020 to Euro 2021.
Man,
yeah,
that was a lot of effort on his part, though. So,
but smart. People would have definitely caught him.
Right, yeah.
Now everyone thinks he just got lucky because he didn't really get it right. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I was mind blown. Yeah, that insane. This one I don't know if it's a fail or a most important, so I'm gonna get in the middle. This one's pretty crazy.
Tom Traveler just commented on our show. Did you see it?
What?
What is going on?
We're living in a simulation. Operation Shock and Awe starting soon. Go Big Orange. I hope you're right, Tom Traveler. Wait a minute. Tell us how 2021 finishes while you're here. Where are we sitting in December?
Yeah.
Big guy. Or big girl, sorry.
Do we want to know? That's my first question.
Kind of, so I know whether to even care or not. I would like to know. So this one, not sure if it's most important or crazy, the video, or most important or fail. It's crazy. Have you seen the video of the fan apparently just hammered walk up and take a club out of Rory McIlroy's bag while he's like standing over it?
No, that's awesome.
He just comes and takes it out. He's about to hit a ball until security walks up. It's not like it's the weirdest video ever. It's one of those, like, especially when we were young and we did like stupid stuff. It was like we would always be like, hey, just act like you belong here, and no one will say it's like that. Like he just acted like he knew what he was doing, and Roy McIlroy is like, he knows the guy's not supposed to be doing that, but he's like, is he? He seems confident. I don't know.
I mean, that's part of the game. You got to have confidence. If you're freaking out about it, yeah, you're probably going to get caught.
You're going to get questioned. You're going to get caught. So, yeah, I don't know. Most important fail, you decide. But I'll send you the video because it's just hilarious to see everyone's reactions.
Yeah. My next one or my fail, Jose Altuve. He said he's not playing in the All-Star game, and he said, I really want to thank everybody that voted for me, that believes in me. I really need these 4 days. I'm putting my team first because I really think we have a chance to win this year.
Are they cheating again?
Their team doesn't play in All-Star weekend, so I'm not sure what he's missing.
Maybe, I mean, I would assume he means rest, but still, yeah.
But there is a kind of counter to this. So somebody quote tweeted it. This is a most important. He said, translation, I don't want to be in a clubhouse with guys who hate my guts and might dunk me in a toilet.
That's smart. That's a good move by Jose Altuve. Did you see him rip off his shirt after his walk-off home run?
Shut up, no.
They ripped off his shirt and he didn't care. Someone tweeted, they were like, I thought his wife didn't like that. Because he went and ran in the dugout when they did it the last time. He had a walk-off against the Yankees, by the way, Landon. I'm sorry.
I know. I saw it.
Okay, all right.
That was so dumb.
I just wanted to mention that. So.
They scored like 6 runs in the 9th, so
banging trash cans. Bastards.
Just trash.
I've got one more fail. I just read this. I thought it was funny. Brown trout can become addicted.
This count as a fail?
Oh, God, dude, what is going on? That's the same dude who did that TikTok I sent you, right?
Is it?
I think it is. What's that dude's name?
I don't know. This is.
I think they were just hating
unnecessary
on that
roughness. Like, what is wrong with him?
I don't know. I would not.
Obviously, there's that. Hopefully, that kills South Carolina's momentum in recruiting.
I'll say that though. The way he's standing is the assumption I make when anybody rolls up their game jersey like that. That's what I assume they act like. That's what I assume they are. That guy. Like, I hate that look. I think it looks so just bad.
Yeah, it does.
I think it looks terrible. It's one thing to do it in practice, games.
It's also like people grab you and like scratch. Like there's nothing comfortable about that.
Well, I don't know. It's just like a weird thing. You're like, I don't know. It's weird. I'll just leave it at that. It's very weird. So this fail is from CNN tweeted this. They tweeted, brown trout can become addicted to the illegal drug methamphetamine when it accumulates in waterways, according to research. These fish just doing meth?
God, I hope so.
What if you caught a fish on meth? What would that be like?
Oh, dude, it'd be the fight of your life.
I bet. Tom Traveler said 10-2 per JCO. So 10-2 this year, Landon. You heard it here first from Tom Traveler on more important issues.
No,
is he talking about the way that Heupel's going to be holding the steering wheel when he drops the car off the cliff? At 10-2? Okay.
Or probably just me.
Oh, yeah. I've been looking for a good cliff for November. So,
I guess that's kind of it. I mean, I guess we could do Conor McGregor's ankle.
God, that pissed me off, dude. That was a good first round. Some people were saying Conor McGregor kicked his ass. Some people were saying Justin Poirier kicked his ass. I didn't think either kicked their ass. I thought it was a pretty, I thought Poirier probably got the better of him. But
yeah, Poirier was definitely winning that round.
But not by like a long shot. He was, probably ahead just a few. And I thought they exchanged good punches, and I thought Conor put himself in a bad situation, but still was able to at least make some stuff happen. So I thought it was a really good fight, and it sucked the way it ended.
Yeah. It was kind of like that Anderson Silva fight a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's so weird that it happened right after the bell rang.
Well, the foot break happened right before Poirier got on him, and then he was saved by the bell. Because I thought, when he collapsed, I thought he was screwed.
Yeah, that's
right. I was like, you just gotta last. I think it was 10 seconds. I was like, just hang in there for 10 seconds. And
but he just couldn't walk.
Yeah, he couldn't do anything. And then the doctor called, which I was like, that's funny because it technically didn't end in round 1, but everyone won the bet that did TKO in round 1.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, that fight didn't technically end in round 1. Conor McGregor made it past the first round, and then it got stopped due to a doctor stoppage or whatever they call it. So,
yeah, I picked Dustin. Conor McGregor doesn't have a great kind of record since he fought Floyd, so it kind of makes me think he might be just collecting checks. I don't think that, but
that's what's funny. Like, a lot of people want to act like, that break, it wasn't a dive or anything.
No,
like he didn't take himself out of the fight.
Right.
That leg was shattered.
Yeah, but that's why I picked. I just think Dustin is he's insane.
Yeah, I should have picked Poirier. I did pick.
And when it went to the ground, I was like, "Ooh, this might be it."
Yeah. You thought Conor? Well, did you think the guillotine was going to win it, or did you think?
No, because if I thought if Connor was going to win, he's going to have to knock his ass out because he's got long arms. But when he got
that first guillotine, I thought he had him.
Well, I mean, that was ballsy on Connor because, Connor's not great on the ground.
Right.
So going for a guillotine, he was like just trying to end it.
Well, I thought he had that first one. I thought he got him. The second one wasn't as good. He didn't have a good hold.
No.
But the first one, I thought, he
did put himself in a bad position when.
Well, I'm with you. I didn't think Connor would win it on the ground, and then he got him in that, and I was like, oh shit, like this is going to happen. Yeah, it was.
I feel like you try to pull that like late in the round. So he's not able to stay on top of you for 2 minutes and just pound your brains in
like you did.
Yeah. So maybe that was bad on his part, but I like the UFC. I'm so glad there's so many free live streams. I know they try to shut all of them down, but
I went over to somebody who bought it last night. I would never pay for. I mean, I never even paid for you remember when Tennessee games were on pay-per-view? Yeah, didn't pay for that crap.
Ooh, fell on Greg Hardy, just getting freaking wrecked.
Yeah, I haven't.
You haven't seen him get knocked out?
I have. I had a draft saved. I need to see if I tweeted or I was going to tweet it. Also, that was funny. I had a tweet pulled up, and I was like, what a first freaking round. Like, what are the next 4 rounds going to be like? And then I was like about to hit send and breaks his leg. Love it. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Thank you all for Credence wants to know, Time Traveler, if we get Walter Nolan. So answer that one as we get out of here, guys. It's been fun. We appreciate Pete Derkay hopping on. Good luck in the next step in his career, whatever it may be, baseball or not. And go Vols. We'll see you guys back here on Wednesday.
Yeah, go Vols. Hopefully we're talking about another commitment and maybe some Vols are coming back. We'll have a lot more baseball news probably in the next coming weeks once this draft has concluded.
And that's what's interesting. We may know some guys, but I don't think we'll know everybody by Wednesday just because there'll be some other things to consider. Monte Combo just stepped on somebody going up for a layup.
Nice. How many rebounds does Jay Crowder have? That's what I need to know.
I don't see the stats right now.
That's all we got. Thanks for listening. Obviously, Tommy O'Donnell, you want a shirt?
Yeah.
Send us a message. We'll get that to you. O'Donnell rules. I'll also tweet that on Twitter too. But yeah, just get with us and we'll get that to you. Bring the boat in and we out.